Wholeness people. This is the Need to Know Crosstalk show. My name is Zeke Dorset, and today I have with me two amazing people that I've known for quite a few years now. In my youth, Mr. Dwayne Dorset, my brother, and Dan Glanville, another brother from another mother. How are we doing, sir?
Well, hey, you good?
You good?
Yeah.
Dan, where are you at the moment? You're in Germany?
Mannheim.
Mannheim, man. So how long have you been on the road? Just out of curiosity, because he's a lorry driver, by the way, guys, so he's away.
Since a week. Just over a week.
A week, man. Amazing.
It's a 12-week tour.
Good stuff. So it's good to have you on the show, man, sharing the space. Dwayne, how's life? How's you, family?
That's good, man. Same old.
Yeah.
Plodding along. Nah. Life's beautiful, man. It's good.
Yeah.
Working hard. Family's good. Baby's good.
Nice.
Everything's all good.
Happy days. Well, I'm really excited that I've got you guys on here today. We've got quite an important, meaningful. I hope all the chats are meaningful, but this is quite a meaningful chat. It all relates to everybody. And it's the concept of money. What is money? We'll look into the origins of money, the connection with the spiritual being, how it has the tendency to split us into many pieces, the good and the bad. And we're really going to delve into this. So without sort of leaking any more information about it, Chucky, and I'm just going to chuck one in there straight away and just ask you boys, what is money for you two? Exactly. What is it? What is money? Please, because there's so many ideas and thoughts about it. I'm sure we're going to get a couple of bits, and I'll just share this quickly, which it says in the dictionary. Money, a current medium or exchange in the form of coins and banknotes collectively. The first thing that I catch from that straight away is a current medium of exchange. Now, that can be looked at in a completely different manner. Current obviously being electric, energetical, and medium, looking at that from a spiritual side as well, and the exchange being, it's a give and take sort of ball. Chuck your ideas, please, on what money is for us, please.
I'll quote Akala: money is a means to get wealth.
Not wealth itself.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. But money is a means to wealth, isn't it? It's a means to getting the material things that you want out of life, but not only that, to get a quality of life. It's your standard of living. Money dictates your standard of living in this world.
And that's quite modern as well, that way of thinking. Well, I say that's quite modern. Sort of trying to think about when, I can't give you an exact date of when trading was in place or when money came into the system, the game, shall we say, and started taking its role from that sort of aspect. But
you mean the gold standard?
Yeah.
So the gold standard's been dead for a long time, though, hasn't it? As soon as money started getting printed, gold standard was dead. So the original was it was a way of progressing the trade market, wasn't it? So originally you would trade, let's give a layman example, pies for you'd trade fruit and receive a pie.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Or your skill, you know what I mean? As that.
Yeah, exactly. So or a skill or a craft or something like that. But so money, the gold standard, was put in as a way of progressing and making that trade easier.
Well, yeah. Dwayne, do you want to touch base on that a bit? What is money? What is money?
Money to me is a control system.
Okay.
Money sets imaginary things into half life and half dead life. Like, it's only really got half a life until you actually bring it to life. What I mean by that is it sets a status. Now, I could have £100, my mate could have £1,000. He could be classed as rich, and just because he's got a name of higher power because of the amount of money he has, he therefore gains a boost in thought, energy, everything within him gets boosted, and that's what money does to you. It controls you. It's like an alien. It's like an alien needing a host, basically, because without us, money wouldn't exist.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
So
Go on, continue.
So if
Sorry,
you
I had a
actually,
call coming in. Any chance I could reconnect in 5 minutes?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
jump
good.
in,
Yeah,
jump in.
send me the link through. I'll join back in 5.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, cheers, man. Bye.
yeah, basically with that scenario and that headspace of thinking, you actually realize that if humans didn't carry money wouldn't actually exist. The fact that we continuously make it the forefront of our lives to get into the destinations that we imagine in our heads, it's just crazy. But it's got that much power. It works.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, there's definitely some, call it magical presence behind what it stands for and how it is delivered to us. Bringing it back a little bit more, and I'll jump into it. It'll all make sense what I was trying to say there, which I didn't say. Is okay. The idea of money for me is it's a synthetic approach on trading currency without any collateral. So what I mean by that is to chuck it collateral in the sense of something that's come from nature, whether that be wood, gold, silver, plant, anything, something that is real. What money, that's not what money is, but that's what money is portraying as a reflection, which is synthetic and not real. So the idea of money for me,
I completely understand what you're saying. Like you're basically saying that they've created this illusion to make you think that you need money to get things that is already here.
Yeah. So the things that are already here, which are rightly given to us by nature in abundance, we now have this middleman money or currency or synthetic currency, I'd like to call it, because our true currencies are naturally constantly running in a cyclical balance way. This synthetic money that we have, for us, the workers, works on a linear scale rather than a cyclical scale, but we'll go a little bit more deeper into that as well. So yeah, I mean, it almost sounds like I'm putting my foot down on what money is, but yeah. So the idea of what money is basically it's not real, but also it's a back in the days, for example, it would be very difficult for people to just carry gold or an abundance of gold or abundance of silver or whatever it is they hold that value, call it that, and so the idea of money, when it came out, held to a degree a reasonable sort of balance as to, okay, this coin is worth that, or when the notes came in, this note is worth that.
Yeah.
But the truth be told is that when at the beginning of when these were valued. You know, money and coins, they were valued to them because they were using them to certain materials, gold, silver, etc. But then when they definitely turned over to banknotes, that's when everything lost its power. That's when, for me, it lost its value because
of course. See, in the end of the day, they replace prime metals with wood. That's what they've done. Like just because it feels like paper, you got to understand paper's wood, and this is where excuse my language, this is where they're taking the piss out of us, because they're cutting down our trees that naturally grow on our lands for us to breathe, and then turn it into money, and then put that in our hands and say, there you go. They're taking us back to the basics of life. Like, in the end of the day, we was creating metal, different types of metal. We was alchemizing metals, and all of a sudden we don't know how to do that no more, and we've been given paper, or we've been given these gold coins or silver coins that ain't actually silver or gold. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've like, even that little jump there, they've taken a lot from us, bro. Like, how have we gone from holding true gold every day and true silver every day, true bronze every day, to be holding the like fake materials, or now holding paper? Well, nowadays we're holding plastic.
Yeah, as well, the coins aren't. They're just mixed metals of stuff like
of crap.
Yeah, like, you got to appreciate as well, currency aside, if you was carrying gold and silver and whatnot, you would have been taking away some of those elements within your skin and whatnot as well, which would have been quite beneficial to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, having silver and all these wonderful elements around you constantly, you'll be taking them in. They'll be in your environment, so you'll be enriched in it in a particular way as well. It's quite powerful stuff. But I've got something here on Wikipedia. I'm just going to read it through and just talks a little bit about money. Money is an item or verifiable record that is generally accepted as payment for goods and services and repayment of debts, such as taxes, in a particular country or socio-economic context. The main functions of money are distinguished as a medium of exchange, a unit of account, a store of value, and sometimes a standard of deferred payment. Any item or verifiable record that fulfills these functions can be considered as money. Money is historically an emergent market phenomenon, establishing a commodity money. But nearly all contemporary money systems are based on fiat money. Fiat money, like any check or note of debt, is without use value as a physical commodity. It derives its value by being declared by a government to be legal tender. That's the mashup there, the fiat money, which we were talking about. That is, it must be accepted as a form of payment within the boundaries of the country for all debts, public and private. Counterfeit money can cause good money to lose its value. The money supply of a country consists of currency, banknotes and coins, and depending on the particular definition used, one or more types of bank money, brackets, the balance is held in checking accounts, savings accounts and other types of bank accounts. Bank money, which consists only of records, most computerized in modern banking, forms by far the largest part of broad money in developed countries. Digital, which is the world we live in today. So, you know, I think it was 1935 or around, it was 1930s when our queen, she, what did she do? She was in debt. So that's when they turn over some clause, basically, where the people, you know, and you hear things about the birth certificates and stuff like that, and it is something quite detailed about it, or where, you know, basically we were treated as collateral to pay off an ever going debt with these bankers, which we'll talk a little bit more about going back in the days. Who were the real bankers? Where did it all start from? To pay off the debt that was accrued by the royalists. So money became a very, very valuable asset in one respect for the people that were, should we say, the wealthy, to be in wealth, but at the same time to be able to control as well. So the people above them had them in control, getting them to do what they wanted to do, and to allow for the fake money, fiat money, to be shrouded around the world. It was easily acceptable by the people that wanted to be in control. So that being said, where did money start? Where did money come from? I've got a little bit here. It says, which came from the internet, that archaeologists have established that cash originated in the world's oldest city, in Mesopotamia. Don't quote me on it. Apparently, silver in Mesopotamia functioned much like our money today. That is, people used it as a means of exchange and used it to define the value of commodities and services. I'll go a bit further than, well, I say a bit further than that. On the talks of the Knights Templar, I had quite a bit of information on them, sort of sharing that they were the first bankers. You know, what the Knights Templars used to do back in the days was to hold people's riches for a price. So they would defend and look after their riches while rich people traveled around the world or whatever it was, or they needed to ship their goods, because obviously they couldn't carry their gold and their wealth. So they used these bounty hunters, these glorified individuals, allowed them to look after their wealth, travel with it and move it around the world wherever they wanted for a price, and they charged for a price for their services. And it got to a stage where, and this is where tax came in, because they were taxing people for their services. You know, yes, we'll look after these goods for this price. They kept doing it and doing it and doing it until eventually they became so strong and so powerful that actually the people that were in power, kings and queens, eventually they started using their services, and they became in debt to these Knights Templars. Do you know what I mean? So much so that the Knights Templars had power over them to start charging what they wanted, and almost start and pretty much getting to the stage rather of telling them what they were going to do from now on. Hence what I was talking about with the Queen, when eventually they kind of had to roll over like a dog and basically start utilising how the way of the banking system now. I mean, they had no choice. They didn't want to lose out, so they had to roll out this system and pass over a debt by doing some pretty weird and drastic stuff with birth certificates and using us as collateral. But you know, maybe you want to jump on a little bit more of that. Where did money come from? Where did it spawn from? What's the idea of it?
Boy, you just beat me up on that, mate. Like, you just give me information I didn't even know there, mate. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was listening to you. I was fascinated there. Like, I haven't dove that deep into it, to be honest, mate. Like, on that part of stuff. Like, I've researched the power it has, and it's like it's got its own currency and stuff like that, and the illusions of it. But I never looked at where it come from. I knew it was like as far as back as like far back as the Mayans or something like that. But did you say Mesopotamia?
Mesopotamia, yeah.
Yeah, I never knew it was that far back. That's quite far back.
There's a website here called history.econtrader.com.
That's how far back is that? That's over like 5 like 50 to 100,000 years, probably more.
About 8,000 years old.
8,000?
Yeah, they say
Really?
it. Mesopotamia
Nah.
known as the cradle of civilization and is the most ancient civilization known to have existed on the planet about 8,000 years ago, they say.
All right.
So,
okay.
You know, I'm not too big on these numbers. When it comes to the numbers, I sort of listen.
To be honest, I'm quite in touch with my Asian, like my Asian ancestral knowledge and stuff like that, and that's all lies. That's definitely lies, 100%.
I can't help but think that some of the signs are closer than what they say, but
that's another subject. Like, what are you finding out on that information there?
Or what
date? Yeah, that day.
That was just literally. I just literally went on and just it poked a number out there quickly for me.
Oh, okay.
I don't take that. Don't take it for.
Nah, because one thing I know, like the Egyptians literally go at least back 1,000 years, and there's been colonies before that, like the Mayans and Mesopotamia, and they go back at least 30 to 40,000 years, easy. But that's another subject. We'll talk on another show about that stuff, man.
Well, let me read on to this. Econtrader.com. I'll read this through. This is on a bit about the Knights Templar. And there's quite a bit of it actually, but I'll just skim through it. I'll skim reader through it. So it's the Knights Templar, one of two first banking institutions. Since the birth of Christianity in Rome, the ultimate goal for its followers was to visit sacred places in accordance with their religion. Pilgrims travelled from across Europe to Jerusalem just to fulfill their lifelong devotion to their scriptures. The emergence of Islam altered the seemingly seamless journey of the pilgrims to Jerusalem. The siege of Jerusalem in 637 by the Rashidun army came to an end, giving the Muslims control over it. This didn't stop the pilgrims from making the journey, even after the city fell under Muslim control. As the number of pilgrims increased, bandits took advantage and harassed the devotees on the route to Jerusalem. The greatest threat was the appearance of a group of Muslim fanatics that massacred infidels. Sorry. Now, something popped up on the screen there.
You should be out.
As one of their Islamic duties. Because of this, a new order of knights was formed in 1118 in Jerusalem. These knights took charge of the safety of the pilgrims on the road to their holy land. They were among the most feared knights of that time, as their devotion to the scriptures gave them the willingness to die. The attempt to regain Jerusalem from the Muslims gave rise to the first international bankers, fueled primarily by conquests. The Templars started out living poor and a life of devotion to the scriptures. However, as the continuing crusades against the Muslims went on, they slowly accumulated wealth as papal bulls authorized them to keep whatever they acquired from the Muslims. The Templars also accepted gifts from the faithful, as well as transporting valuable items from major trading routes and shipping lanes. Over the course of 200 years, the knights gained dizzying amounts of wealth, land, and at one point, nearly 800 castles, which later on served as full-service banks. Mad, isn't it? The knights became bankers of monarchs for their mortgages, as well as offering loans to finance wars with their headquarters in Paris. A knight could deposit money in Jerusalem and make a withdrawal in the form of gold coins when he arrives in Paris. The Knights Templar has transformed into an institution of great wealth and power. Nobody could seem to match their strength, and they even planned to form their own state, just like how the Teutonic Knights formed Prussia. However, all of these would come to an end, and all their wealth and influence would be brought down over a loan and a series of theocratic harassment by a struggling monarch, King Philip IV of France. So, yeah, quite interesting when we sort of touch base of where we think.
What did that King Philip do?
He brought down the Knights Templar, so they say,
How?
If I'm correct, I think it was to do with the kings and the people in Rome weren't happy because they were not in power. The Knights Templars were booming. They were like coming out of the woodworks, just wealth, land, collateral. Do you know what I mean? Wealth and land, and they were owning like the rich people. Do you know what I mean? The people in power. Do you know what I mean? The monarchs and stuff like that, which was just spoken about. So, and they were giving out loans and they were charging their own demands. Do you know what I mean? And because Pope, Rome, and particular monarchs weren't happy with what was going on, basically what they did do, which I'll read on afterwards, if I'm correct, is basically say that the Knights Templars were doing a dirty act, an unlawful act, and they shared this to the community, to their people, as, oh, they were doing a dirty act. Do you know what I mean? They were charging you this, that, and the other. They made them look bad, basically, and then ridded them, killed them off slowly like that. You know, that was their approach of taking control. But lo and behold, the idea of, well, we know today, the idea of loaning and taxing and whatnot, exactly. You know,
It's all down to them.
Well, they continued it. It never died or faded away. They wanted control over it because they saw wealth and the power that it existed. And we know in today's world, religion, money, and my brain's gone numb. It's a three-part system there. Religion and money and government play a part altogether, don't they? You know what I mean? Just get it right. Like, all three of them work. They look
hand in hand.
like they don't like each other, but all three of them work very well to keep the community docile. Stupid. Do you know what I mean? Definitely. So,
100%.
I want to touch base a little bit more on what money is and how illusionary it can be for us in this day and age. So I've got a bit here on Wikipedia, and then I'm sure you'll be able to touch base on it a little bit more. And we'll a few of our own situations in our lives today, just to let you know that we're gonna have to jump off, and I'm gonna have to let you back in 5 minutes because we have 3 people on. But when we reload, it'll be free time. Okay, so I just have to re-invite you. But quickly, I've got this bit on Wikipedia: money illusion. In economics, money illusion or price illusion is the tendency of people to think of currency in nominal rather than real items. In other words, the face value, nominal value of money is mistaken for its purchasing power, real value, at a previous point in time. Viewing purchasing power as measured by the nominal value is false, as modern fiat currencies have no intrinsic value and their real value depends purely on the price level. Now, anyone who doesn't have half a brain, hopefully can figure that one out. Do you know what I mean? Literally, because they're pretty much telling you.
They don't mean nothing.
No value. It's dead. Died a long time ago. There was no value to it. Zero. Fuck all. If anything, it's less than zero, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The term was...
That's what...
Go on.
That's what I meant, as in, it's a control system.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a currency. It's nothing but a control system. It sets status and it puts everybody into this frenzy, like, I'm better than you because I've got a pound more or a penny more. It's ridiculous. When really, if like you really had to lay your money down on something that would save your life, they would go like, what the hell do we want this for? Do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't mean anything. We've got your house, we've got your car, we've got we've got all your assets. What do we need your money for? Because you're gonna have to buy all that again, and we'll take it again. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's the truth. Like imagine, if your arm was wired up to a drip, and every single drip was a penny, right? Because that's exactly what it is. Or every single drip when you're working is your sweat. Like you're putting all your blood and all your sweat and your tears into this
Yeah.
dead currency, and nothing is coming back.
You
because when you die, it's gone.
Yeah, you nailed it there straight away. 100%. It's the true currency, or the currency that they're after. Whether people sort of think this way, I'm sure a lot of people do, is actually our energetical pull. The energetical pull that they're getting, the cyclical cycle of what money is not cyclical for the masses. It's only for the people that are in control of money.
Yeah,
they release it, and when people realise it or not, whether it be food, tax, paying your rent, putting clothes on your back, all of this, no one knows, or the majority of people do not know where or who is accountable for anything that we buy. You'll probably find that the majority of things that are bought are owned by particularly
one person,
back to the people that own the money in the first place.
Yeah.
But like, for example, it's going off a bit, the cycle of it, money, smoking. So when health crazes go into the system and people are like, oh, you've got to stop smoking, this, that, and the other. It's problem, reaction, solution, like David Icke says, you know, the problem was already created. Health and whatnot has been breaking down, this, that, and the other. At the beginning, it was looked at as a good thing. They used to promote women with cigarettes, saying, yeah, take control, this and that, be more, whatever. But obviously, the health craze was kicking in. So what did they do? They bring out another idea, which was like e-cigarettes, or before that was chewing gum, this, that, and the other. But the e-cigarettes and all these bits and pieces that are brought out into the system to better stop you from smoking, the people are they're endorsed by the people that make cigarettes, but people don't recognise that. Do you know what I mean? So the money is going back to the same system. The cycle for them is perfect, but for us, it's linear. But that being said, I'm just going to jump off now quickly. I'm going to re-invite you, and then we're going to jump back on and continue this. So hold on a second. Yeah, so sorry about that. Talking about the illusion of money. How does it, let's bring it back into the modern age and how it taken effect on us individually. So, I mean, I can remember when I was growing up as a young, clueless individual, that the idea of money came to me at such a young age, because I know you can relate as well. We didn't have the best upbringing. We didn't have much money at all to use. There was five of us at one point, feeding off of one real income, which was mum working crazy amounts of time to make ends meet. So it became quite clear to us at a young age that we needed to start defending for ourselves straight away. And the idea of money came to me in many ways incorrectly. I most definitely didn't realise my true currencies. I didn't have them at play or in my inventory to use at my disposal. And there's still areas that I'm working on in my life today. Well, I definitely looked externally at things and thought, wow, okay, you know, single parent family, mum and dad, look what they've got this, or they've got that, and then it turned into I would like that, or I want that. And so I started having the desire to reach out for things, that no negative or bad, putting that aside for now, you know. So I definitely became attached to external things, whatever it may be that I wanted at the time. You know, I learned how to drive at a young age. I found clothes, items wanting to look a particular type of way at a very, very young age, and spending money and price tags weren't a thing. In fact, you know, the more expensive things were, I didn't have the reasoning to think that actually maybe didn't actually make whatever I was wearing or whatever I bought any more better than something that was lesser in price. In the sense of today, you know what I mean, for a while I didn't realise that actually wearing someone else's name meant more. So what, you know, didn't mean more in value than what it means wearing your own self, wearing your own name. You know, like wearing the Hugo Boss is no different from wearing a t-shirt from Primark, other than the ethics, which will probably find they're both the same, no doubt. To be honest, you know, and they make them cheap and just put the name on them. That's the difference. So the illusion of money. Where did that start with you and your journey with life? Because I know you've got an interesting journey with money. Yeah, just chuck it out there. Go for it, bro. Let's have it. Yeah, illusion with money.
Yeah.
And Dwayne Dorset.
I was just literally sitting there thinking about things, and like a couple of pennies dropped there when you was talking. I was just thinking like things that I've never actually thought about before. But like when obviously mum was working, like you said, make ends meet. God knows how many hours, and like you said, we all had to defend for ourselves. And you know, like I had a little image when I was a kid when I was on my paper round, and I was like one of the only kids in my little group making money, and I felt the man for that. Like I was making that dough. I'm a little £13 and change.
Yeah, man, I remember those days. I remember those days. Those days were sweet, man.
Trust me, man. That was all good, bro. Sweets every day, like things like that. But it literally got to the point, obviously, when I got older, and yeah, obviously, I was still needing money, man. And then I came across this wonderful thing called fucking drugs, mate. Excuse my language. And you know what I found out when I got a hold of drugs? I thought, oh my God, I can earn money whenever I want and not have to get out of bed and not have to go to somewhere I don't want to be. I can do it on my own terms. But obviously, I had a time to pay up, obviously, but it felt like God just put the key to the world in my hand, because I felt like I was in control of money. Like I could get it whenever I want. And I'm going to tell this in sections. Obviously, now I think about that now, I realize that was one of money's great illusions. It still had me chasing it. And it put me on a path of destruction and illegalness, and it made it seem so beautiful. And it was all to get money, like to get to that money, like get to money, and the things I put myself through and what I went through and stuff like that. You know, I'm not gonna say it weren't worth it, because I learned off all that, but at the time, like it was stupid. It was stupid because that same tenner I probably spent one day probably came back to me the next day. Do you know what I mean? Like I was never ever accumulating. I was always like not like I was just not making. I don't know. It's weird. It put me into a really weird state of thought. It made me feel powerful. It was strange. It was very, very strange. And when I really look at it, it wasn't the drug dealing. It was the money. Like, do you know what I mean? Like anyone could work and for days on end at any job, but if there's no prize at the end, well, what's the point? And that was the big illusion. That was the prize at the end. And it actually had me for a good 11 years. 11 long years. And don't get me wrong, I had a lot of money like go through my hands, and I don't know. It's still it's strange.
Yeah,
strange. I can't.
I do recognise where you're coming from with that, and you know, just to jolt your brain a little bit, what I would say is, going back to what money is today for us, synthetic money, I like to call it, is exactly that. Because we're electromagnetic beings, we charge off of abundant energy, and abundant energy comes off of us, and we attract things accordingly. There's a cycle to us in nature, and we're a part of nature. Money is not natural. So looking past what money is, the push and pull, the give and take effect is dead. It's linear. So we bring something in and we get nothing back out of it. It's like having an apple tree in your garden, and when it grows apples, you get the opportunity to eat those apples and appreciate the wealth of the tree. And the tree goes through its cyclical cycle of being able to do what it does. Same as nature, spring, summer, autumn, winter.
Yeah.
You don't get that.
Sorry, let me jump in. Basically, with money, its currency is back to front. You're putting in all the work.
Yes, yeah.
To get the money, and you're getting nothing back from the money. But then you're putting in all the work again, where the apple tree is growing all the apples, and you're getting the wealth, and then you're waiting for the apple tree to do the work. You understand? Like, well, you're waiting for the apple tree to do its normal course. But with money, we are the machine that's spitting it out. We're basically like an ATM.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. The money is essentially not actually the problem. The money is not real. The problem is
the money's being abused by us.
It's the intention. The problem with the problem behind money, from my understanding, is the intention that it brings, that the individual brings into money. So, and a lot of people don't have. I'll put myself in this cycle many times. Don't have the reasoning to put. First of all, it's difficult to put a value on money because there is no value on it, and then to have the point of view of being able to use money to create abundance in the sense of, it's very difficult if you're focused on external. Let's just call it materialism, external things to benefit your well-being. And what is your well-being? What, like, it's a big word. What? I'm not saying you can't better your well-being with money. But what I'm trying to say is if you are bettering your well-being with money, you have to question whether it's the money that's actually making that well-being. Because whether we like it or not, we live in the system of money, and we have to use it. I appreciate that. I get it. I mean, I'm not dissing it, but it's still not real. That is the killer point there that people need to recognise, is that if you're playing a game where the energetical influence is not real, it's like playing a game of chess against a computer. Like, you're not going to get any energetical. It's like you hanging around a computer, you're not going to be able to gel, you're not going to be able to sync. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to share your natural energy because you're not the same in character. You can't have the. Do you know what I mean? it's like having a pet. You can have a pet and you guys can sync. Do you know what I mean? You get used to each other. You know each other. You end up cherishing it, sharing. You can't do that with something that's synthetic because it doesn't share that that value. That coding is not there, isn't it?
It's even deeper than that. You can't have a bond with something that keeps changing faces, even though it's got the same face. Because say if you kept one tenner for years and years and years and years, you had it since you were 5 and now you're 30, you've got a bond with that tenner. Like, if you lose that tenner, like you want that Pacific tenner back. Do you know what I mean? But where we're changing money all the time, it keeps us unbalanced.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It unknowingly keeps us unbalanced because you're having to count your money again. Do you know what I mean? So that's telling you that this is new money and this is something you don't know because you're having to recount it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And do you see what I'm saying though? It's such a game of trickery. Such a game of trickery.
It's like the resetting. It's like when it gets when the game's
pressing the reset button.
Sort of question it, they reset it. Reset it. It's like, okay, we've got to figure out.
Or it's like going through a game and nearly getting to the end and then dying and having to start again.
And the computer trips out.
Yeah. And you're having to start again and you're like, fuck's sake. So you're having to count your money again, and then you go to spend and then you get paid again, you've got to count again. And it's always keeping you unbalanced because you always penny pinching and money watching. Do you know what I mean? And that's another control system it has. It has so many faces. Like the reason why I've what I was thinking the other day, and it was so funny because I was watching the Batman cartoon because I like watching Batman in the morning just before I go work. Had a little coffee and a bit of toast, a bit of Batman, and Two-Face come on, and he's got that coin, and it's a real old school silver coin. And it's got 2 faces on it, and I was just thinking that coin has so many faces. It's unbelievable. Like the things that it can make a person do is endless. Do you understand? Endless.
Yeah.
So it's currency and its power, bro, is endless, mate. Because the worst thing is of how it has such a hold on us. The saying every man has a price is so true. It's so true. Like, mate, I'm sorry. Like, if somebody put like 50 mil in front of me and said, mate, all you got to do is just go and do this one bad thing. The thought's got to go through my head.
Of course it will.
It's going to go through. I don't care who you are. Like, everybody has a price. Do you understand? And it's horrible to actually be like that because I would like to say, no way I'll do that. But when it's there, you're on the fence, and you're. Do you know what I'm saying?
Then there's the situation where some people are in dire straits. Some people are in worse off situations than we are. Some people have got 3 kids struggling. They've got maybe their baby kid that needs medical attention. Like, people will go to next lengths,
different lengths to do push, what they got to do.
Some people will do it by the legal system, and it's like our mum, And I've done it where I didn't want to stretch out of my comfort zone as to what trade I was doing at the time. So I was pushing more hours to try and ends meet, not recognizing that actually, maybe I need to upgrade the information that I'm more than capable of doing to be able to increase my wealth accordingly by not having to do so many hours. Basically, learn and earn more. Do you know what I mean? Rather than actually sitting comfortable and doing a job that is not delivering the slightest amount of, again, it's the same cycle of pushing out too much energy, jack shit back. Swear, but
it's even that. It's even like what you're saying now. It's just like, without even you knowing it, like, obviously, because we're talking about it, like, I can pinpoint it, and like you probably pinpoint it if I was talking it, like, you're talking about like getting more money and stuff like that, and that's just another power. Like, when you actually really think about it, like, if you really just like want to just live comfortably, That's a roof over your head, clothes on your back, you're eating. You've got a little £100 to spend every weekend after you get paid. After you've paid all your bills, done your shopping. Do you know what I mean? £100, that can suit everyone like every week. But we're like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if humans are naturally greedy or the money's doing us, making us greedy. But it's one of the two.
Money is most definitely a system that allows us to engage in a form of, it's not even currency, but it rids us of our own currency. But it's a way to it's a use of credit. It discredits us basically. It allows us. It's like giving us tokens. I shared this before we even put this on live. The powers that be, you know, I could imagine them sort of just with their slippers on in their suits in their around their table, just drinking their coffee and champagne or whatever their nastiness they drink. Basically saying, looking at all us like ants running around, getting to the checkpoints, going to work or whatever, and they're saying, one of them says, there you go, because you've done your 40, 50 hours a week. Well done. Here's some money in your account. But just remember, everything you buy, those cigarettes that are in your pocket, the lighter that you bought, the shoes on your feet, you know, that nice Armani watch you're wearing, that car, all that money is coming straight back to us because we own it. Have a nice day. And that's basically how the system on their behalf works, cyclically. Perfect. They don't have to buy into anything because we make the currency. We allow it to come straight back round. For us,
of course.
But it's based on a linear basis where we take the money,
it's a belief,
put all the energy and work into it, take the money, and then it goes straight back out. And that's why people feel beat up because it's like nothing's come back. I feel like they've just been, do you know what I mean, cheated on. Do you know what I mean? You just feel like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that is the biggest illusion of this system is the fact that where the game is that money is in control rather than us being in control of something that's not real, which is money, which is a synthetic currency. Yes, we do need money to play the game, but if you don't know how to play the game, then money's going to beat you constantly. You know what I mean? And it never runs out. Look at it. They keep printing money every day, every minute of the day with no collateral basis. And people just still don't clock onto it. You know what I mean? People are still not ready to let go of the idea of what money truly holds. And that being said, like, it's taken me time to register it. You know what I mean? Falling into that trap.
Yeah, trust me.
Buying stuff.
I'm only just starting to figure things out. I really am, like, with money. Like, it's like I'm noticing the urges. It's weird. It's really strange. It's like, that's back to that thing about walking past the shop. Like, I literally tried and tested it. Like, I walked past the shop without money, and I had no feeling to go in there because I knew I didn't have it. But as soon as it was on me, I couldn't help but go in the shop. I just couldn't help it. Like, I spoke to myself the whole way to the shop. Like, it's only around the corner from my house. I said, like, I'm not going in there. Like, usually after work, I like to buy like a little cheeky beer and a little packet of fags and just go home and just drink my beer and do whatever. But I was just like, today, I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm going to walk home, blah, blah, walk past the shop, bought a beer. Pack of biscuits, went home, sat down, drank a beer, ate my biscuits, and I was just like, wow. Like, and it literally has so many faces, but it is power. It's very powerful. And I don't know if it's because of our way of thinking or if it actually has power. But it's almost like it has an entity wrapped around money.
I'm glad you said that because I'm a firm believer of that as well. The currency that is naturally drawn from us, and which gives money birth. It is growing. It's delivering an entity far greater than what we understand, just because we can't see it to our eyes or to our.
That's what I was saying about the whole them using our own currency against us, like by making money paper, like the biggest amounts of money paper, because we breathe, like we need that. We are basically brother and sister with trees, because we breathe and they breathe. You know what I mean? And now they've turned into something that we can hold. And we, like, in our heads, in our souls, we know how important that breath is. So to be holding it in your hand, like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll definitely touch on that a little bit more, for sure. I know exactly what you're going on about. I just wanted to jump onto what I've got. This little piece on here. It's from Quora.com, and is money real? I'll read it out. And this is from a gentleman who's just written this down, but I found it quite interesting. So he says, it depends on your definition of real. If by real you mean something that exists in the physical world, then no, it is not. 99% of what we call money is now digital and exists only as numbers in the database. Some people confuse representations of money, such as gold and silver, with money. The concept, money is an abstract, basically an IOU, entitling the bearer to a certain amount of goods and services. So it is real as a concept, but not real in physical sense. To further illustrate this point, consider this. Barter system that existed for millennia before money was invented allowed people to exchange real things such as milk and honey for other real things such as rope and shoes. We touched base on that. So all subjects of trade were real in a sense that they existed in the physical world. That's the currency, the cyclical cycle I was going on about. You know what I mean? The give and take. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's where growth comes from. Naturally, we share that. Time and effort are real. They can be objectively measured. Money is not. It is more or less accurate representation of that effort. Unlike with barter system, where you potentially could reverse a transaction and exchange shoes back to milk and honey, the sale of labour is irreversible. Exactly that. The sale of labour, our input into creating or earning currency or credit, is irreversible. You can't. But
you got to listen to that word, the sale.
Yeah.
The sale. The boat sails, and the currency is too hard to reverse.
The sale of labour is irreversible. One cannot buy her time back with money. This is the mad part about it, bro. That's the major illusional part of it, is that you lose part of you for something that is not real. That's exactly.
You're selling your soul.
You know what I mean?
Selling your soul.
It's exactly it when you really look at it for what it truly is. You know what I mean? So when you say that it has money has many faces, yeah, you're damn right. you're damn right. Also, if you consider that some implications of money, such as fiat, government mandated money, are very bad at store value, then no money definitely is not real. So basically, you know, you just look at the system of money is going through the monetary system and governments, etc., and you can just tell that, or we touch base on it, they constantly keep creating more money with no collateral basis, putting the world in a dampened state in a box, basically saying that we're running out of something that is not real. We're running out of money. How can you run out of money when it's not even real? It's not real. If you got rid of money,
nothing will change.
Nothing will change. If you really think about it, what's going to change? Nothing. The only thing that will change is, in my understanding, is that probably war will increase, because they will want to wipe out and rid people of stuff that they've got, because they'll have no control.
Yeah.
It hasn't. You know what I mean? Like backwards thinking there. But yeah, I just wanted to chuck that out there a little bit. What money is on an illusionary basis. So money and illusions, just touching base on a little bit of your history with money again, bro. So when did you, so before you realised that you started waking up to what money was and how it had a play on your personas at the time, which I know you've been working greatly on more and more, as have I. Can you recognise how many sort of personas you probably had going on at the time when money was a big part of your life, more than it, right? Like, and how it changed you, should we say, or how it allowed you many faces? Right. Do you know what I mean? How it allowed you to have these many faces, and
the main ones I can remember
as well.
The main ones I can remember is obviously I'd be the Mr. Generous party man. Like I'll go out when obviously I've made my stack. I'd be like Mr. Generous, buy everyone drinks, be doing that sort of thing.
So, would you call that generous, or was that in another, because I can
no, it was power. It was power. It was a power play. Yeah, it was
attention,
and then there'll be another man, like basically be Mr. Generous. Basically, like I'll take a mate out and buy him loads of clothes, and then there'll be a person one day who'll be really tight and be like, I've got to save my money, man. I want to start stacking. Like it would always just keep me unbalanced, and it gave me so many like basically it controlled my emotions. It gave my emotions faces. When I was feeling a certain way, I would be a certain way and act a certain way and do certain things, and I wouldn't step out of that boundary. So like if I was in the mood, that means like obviously somebody owed me money in it. Like so I would be like Mr. Hunter that day. Like I wouldn't take no shit, blah blah blah. If I obviously got paid and I was happy, everything's gone well, I'll be on the old power play one, like, oh look at me, look how much money I've got. And then obviously I noticed once obviously all that went away and I didn't have it, all them faces and all them personas were gone. And like for a while I missed them all. It was weird. I felt lost for a while. I felt weird being me.
Right.
For a very long time. Very long time, because I gave up that lifestyle, which meant obviously the money wasn't there, and like obviously that's when I noticed the money was the thing that created all that. It wasn't me. The money created that. The money took control of situations. Do you know what I mean? Because I sort of noticed if I didn't have money at certain times, I wouldn't have been in certain places with certain people, and certain situations wouldn't have happened. And do you know what I mean? And it all boils down to how did I get there? Because I got there because I had that money to get there. Do you know what I mean? Because without that money, I wouldn't have got there. Like there's no way in that club, or no way to, do you know what I mean? Like when you really think, it sounds like a blame game, because obviously it's me who puts some actions into play. But like I said, money is 50% alive and 50% dead. You are the other 50% to make it 100.
Yeah.
Very weird way to explain it, but I hope obviously everyone understood.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I hear you on that one. Money, yeah. Me and money, that was quite interesting actually back in the days. And again, I remember being at school and, played football, and I remember Mum getting me a pair of high-tech boots, and they were second hand and they weren't the best looking boots. And I'm pretty sure I got taken a mickey out, or the boots got taken a mickey out of, so I guess I got taken a mickey out of my feelings got dampened, and I could see boots that other people wear. I was thinking, oh, man, I want a pair of boots. And then my emotions played up, and my mood switched up. So I identified moods with particular emotions that were incorrect, because the emotions that I was getting were false. But beyond that as well, I would have issues with, for example, Mum. Why have you bought me these boots, Mum? Like, you know what I mean? So going past them, I'll be having problems with these people now, like, because you put me in this situation and it's da. So when money came into play, wow, didn't I jump on board and think, okay, now I can get the boots that I want on and start. And it wasn't even actually, I can see it now, it wasn't even actually just getting those boots to play football, which were going to make me play better football. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking, they're going to make me look better. They're going to make me feel better, supposedly, and they're going to make me fit in. They're going to make me be part of this illusionary crowd of people that have somehow upgraded themselves with something that is fake, that I know today, that will not make them play football any better. You could be, you know what I mean, a crap football player with a £200 pair of boots. You ain't going to play better football, are you, if you're crap? It's just the way it is, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, my approach, my thought process on all of it was totally, it was blurred. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that my vision was blurry and not, I just weren't in the right frame of thinking. The introduction of it, with it just became made it even more. Turn that illusion into a delusion, I guess. You know, it just turned it even more blurred and more wavy, and more.
Well, even deeper than that for me, Zeke, like where I was obviously doing things like selling drugs at so young, I got to a point of thinking that I didn't need my mum anymore. I was 13, 14 years old, and I was thinking I didn't need my mum anymore because I was probably earning the same that she was. And I didn't ask her for a thing. I'd done my own thing. We had a lot of arguments because she didn't obviously like the way I was doing things and stuff like that. But I went for a long period of never asking her for anything, you know what I mean? And it got to a point where, like, I really thought at one point I didn't need my mum, like, and that's nuts. And money done that, like, made me think just because I had that money, I thought, well, what do I need, like, my mum for, my brothers for, and my sister for, like? And that's where I think I did go a bit dark. Like, I went off the scene for quite a while, and that was definitely due to the amount of money that was going in and out of my hands faster than I could fucking blink, to be honest.
Wow, no, I can relate to that, and I can think of many situations that I put myself in. You know, my introduction to before drugs. Well, I say drugs. When I started drinking, you know, my world changed big time. Then, you know, I used to go out many times. I'm sure I know you've done it as well. There was many a times I spent like £200 in a night, 6 hours, 5 hours, in an evening, just on booze.
Crazy, isn't it?
You know what I mean? Mashed up. Can't remember the night after. Don't even know if it was a good night. But that's 200 quid gone. You know what I mean? Like, many a times I get paid, 2 days later I'm skinned, broke. You know what I mean? Like, all because of putting myself in a situation that I think is great or worthy of being in, because everybody's doing it, wearing in a particular way, spending money on things that are not beneficial to me or not going to create a better well-being or level me up in any way with the application of money. I never had that idea of thinking in that way. It was always about
what you get,
this energy and it being released as quick as I saw it. Like you said, it was like a blink of an eye. And having that way of thinking with the introduction of money is a disaster. It's a problem, and we see this in this day and age, which has been happening for a long time. You know, why people who are in debt are chronically unwell in the sense of how they think due to stress and, you know, split personalities. There's a lot of what do you want to call it? I don't want to call them like medical names for things like this that are not just connected to money, but it's our thought process on how we connect things. Definitely. And the introduction of money being so synthetic is definitely a huge problem. Go on.
But how is it, yeah, like, sorry to cut in, how is it, yeah, that I'm just relating back on what you were saying about, like, most human mental illnesses and physical traumas on the body and stuff, like naturally I'm talking, self-inflicted, is like, how does money disguise itself so well as the root, as the problem? It just all the time it's disguised. Like when you really dig deep, like on like breakups, on relationships, stress, cancers, just hair loss, turning grey early, like weight loss, obesity. Just when you really think about it, it actually, most of it happens to people above the age of 18, around the age of 50, like max, well 60 max. Yeah, like these are the illnesses and the problem stages that like we've got to face between these ages, and most of it boils down to money, because at the end of the day we've all entered the realm of having to earn a living, having to put a roof over your head, having to get a girlfriend, have a car, have fun, live, blah blah blah, and it's all about money.
Yeah.
So how is it so disguised every time? It's always disguised. When you really look at like how like think of Mum, for instance. God bless her. Like she got cancer and stuff like that. But bruv, like we've been saying, like think of the amount of hours she worked to put a roof over her head, blah blah blah, and that's all for money. And if Mum never done that, she probably never got cancer. She probably looked 30 years younger, and everything else like that. But it's so well disguised. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah,
it's madness.
Yeah,
and sorry, this is one more thing I want to say earlier as well. Like, this is obviously, they talk about the devil being on earth and blah blah blah. Is this the real devil? Is this the person that can change faces at any time and convince you to do all these bad things, or convince you? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is this the real devil?
Yes.
That they were talking about in the Bible.
We're all magicians, and this is, for me, there's dark magic in presence as well as light magic, whatever you want to call it. The dark magic being the stuff that we shouldn't be doing, put it that way. Or it's the stuff that is drawing in energy to individuals and not allowing a cyclical, natural cycle to be occurring. Whereas what we should be doing with our powers is to release and to be able to create abundance without affecting others and things too greatly for our own benefits. And it sounds a bit two-faced, essentially, because truth be told, we need to we're empowered to manipulate things, in the sense of you need to be able to manipulate things so you can gain. What is your progress behind everything? It's your intentions behind everything, and the intentions with money is not for the masses to be mindful about. If we were mindful about where money came from, what it means, the powers behind money, let alone having it as a synthetic currency. Actually, the power behind money, which we'll go into a little bit more soon, it holds a lot more value to the powers that be in that sense. In a sense of control, which is shared on, in the fact that it can it can split individuals up in classes, poor, rich. You know, it can allow people to have particular things, and it can allow people to not have particular things, whatever it may be, external things. It can allow people to live in particular areas, affluent areas. It can allow people to. Do you see what I mean? It's purposely built to divide, split. You know, there's no wholeness with fiat money. There can't be, because you can just see it, like everything breaking and dividing, crumbling, essentially. And it's a real big issue. It really is a real big issue. I mean, I want to bring it back a little bit more forward now with money and what it means to you now, and how you feel you can benefit. What are the benefits of money, in the sense of how can you utilize it in a way where you can make it a little bit more cyclical? Like, what have you got any ideas or
well, the end game is for everyone to own their own business. Once you own your own, you're only working for yourself. That's the only way forward. Like, if you work for anyone else, there's like, you're always going to be in the system. Always.
And I can't see a way out of it. Like,
you've got to create your own currency. That's it. It's got to be a fresh idea. It's got to be your idea. No one else's. Yours. Done. Signed, sealed, delivers. No one can copy it. Yours. Because if you're going to get into something like a food chain, like Tesco, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, whatever it is, you've got competition. You're probably not going to win. Like, or you'll have a little run, and then you'll fall along the way because something better will come along. You have to create something new, something fresh, something that everybody wants, and that, like, otherwise, well, you can obviously join the normal stock markets today, but it's got to be a battle. It's always got to be a battle, and fair enough, you are earning for yourself, but you're also fighting for yourself as well. But if you get to that point where, like, you can be an entrepreneur and actually create your own currency, and obviously I don't mean creating your own currency within, like, making up your own money. I mean, like, making up your own product to create that river of money to keep coming through without you having to do no more. Having people work for you, you being the boss. That's the only way that anyone's looking at this current life, this current death that we are going through.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Yeah, definitely reaching towards sovereignty, and the beauty of that. Well, first of all, I'm not sure whether we can actually get out 100% of the use of being, I wouldn't say controlled, but I guess controlled in a sense of, for example, if I was to be an entrepreneur and, you know, I went self-employed and I started, say, buying and selling, then I'd still be buying and selling. I'll be buying products from people to sell on, so that system is still there. But I guess what we can say is to lessen the percentage of control that you have in a labour-intensive type of environment to create credit or currency, synthetic currency, to make this world. If you earn
enough money, you earn enough money to pay them and live comfortable, so you don't have to think about the money you're giving them. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's your own currency. Yeah, you're doing that because in the end of the day, you're letting a little bit of water go their way. You're floating their boat, but your ship's sailing nicely. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's the way it has to be. That's the way. Obviously, it has to be like that. Of course, you've got to comply. Of course, you can't just create your own thing and be like, yeah, you can't touch me. Of course, you've got to comply, but you want to comply to a point where, like, you're feeding them, but you're eating handsomely yourself, so you don't even care. but getting there is why.
Well, that's the
Second to none,
kickstart.
isn't it?
You know, it's taken me a little while to realise that actually the amount of abundant information we have in this day and age is borderline ridiculous. It's got to the stage where actually people are taking, well, I swear again, but taking the piss out of entrepreneurship. Like, almost, it's the same thing that's happening in spirituality as well. There's a lot of people jumping on this bandwagon thing and charging a lot of money for people to become more knowledgeable to spirituality, to better their well-being and heighten their awareness as to who they truly are, which is a very, very empowered being, you know. Yeah.
Fraud.
Yeah. If you want to nail it like that, it's going that way. It's going that way in many, many aspects. So what I'm trying to say,
compulsive player, making himself believe that he's something that he isn't.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that going on in this day and age. So keep that balance alive is all about, for sure, making sure that you can float your boat, like you rightly said. But there's that element of being able to give back. Again, that cyclical cycle is so important. We've seen this in films and we've seen this around individuals, especially in the music business, because we both love music. How many people have we seen, for example, been in the game and then they become busted and broken? You see them go down that dark route where they become mash, bro. They've got all the money in the world. Everything's given to them. But they're broken. Their soul is empty. They're on things external that's just not filling them up no more. It's like that. It's like having a full stomach that is completely empty. You know what I mean?
Imagine having one of them nice rock pool waterfalls in your back garden. Yeah. Imagine that water's money and it keeps just flowing, it keeps circling around and your water stays nice and blue, the fish are all alive. And all of a sudden your pump breaks, the water stops flowing. All that water's still all down there, but now your fish are dying. The money's going mouldy. The beauty of the whole fountain's gone because the water flow's dead. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what I basically mean is what's happening to these celebrities and these guys is they're thinking that their money is the thing that's making them happy. But the thing they're doing that's getting the money, like their football, their music, their acting, is the thing that's making them happy. And when that stops, they realize that the money was just the price. It was never the actual game. Do you know what I mean? Like people, for instance, look at like, what's his name? Is it Gaza? That England football player? Absolute fuck up, mate. Like, sorry, like the geezer's a legend for football. Absolute fuck up. And he's got all the money in the world. Like, off his royalties, he's still earning. Every time an England game is out, he is still earning money. His name gets mentioned, he earns money. Do you know what I mean? He's getting paid, but he's an absolute pisshead. And the reason why he's like that, because as soon as he lost his career, he became like that. As soon as his career left him, he became like that because he realised he had nothing.
It's a real big topic that is, actually, when it comes to Seven Weimar touched base on that a little while back, actually, on particular types of people that are in types of work that are very broken, lost in translation, and politicians was one of them. Actors are up there, sports individuals, because they're acting as well, basically. And when they don't do that, a lot of them become lost. A lot of them become lost because they haven't got that fan base and all that no more, this, that, and the other. They become truly, you know what I mean? Don't know what to do with themselves. But yeah, we touched base on a lot of things there. So I've got, I wanted to talk a little bit more on materialism here. You got time?
Yeah, I've got 20 minutes.
Cool. So I wanted to talk, I've got another site here called All About Philosophy.org, Effects of Materialism. So I'm going to read off of this. It's quite interesting, and it's going back a little bit on what we spoke of. And then we're going to jump on a little bit about the magic behind money, water and money, and we're going to look at and we'll just go more in depth onto those couple of bits then. But the effects of materialism. To evaluate the effects of materialism, let's first examine what materialism promotes. In the most austere sense, materialism states that all that exists is physical matter, negating thought, feeling, human will, and faith. In a more subtle course, materialism promotes the idolatry of possessions or material wealth. Possessions are believed to fill all human need and characterize quality of life. For a godless society, the philosophy of materialism may seem plausible. However, if societies have a spiritual belief, whether it be Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity, Wakantanka, Native American for Great Spirit, or Allah, materialism does not stand, or does it? Perhaps this will sound familiar. Materialism goals and their end results. Acquisition of material goods, in brackets, lust. I think we can relate to that. The amount of times we went out, and obviously we're in that environment, the red light environment, you know, everyone's dressing to impressing. Got money to buy drinks or look good so you can get the looks. Envy.
Like I explained.
Yeah. Envy, big up there. Jealousy has to be in there, which isn't in there, but jealousy is even bigger than that. False comfort. False comfort, but oh wow. Talk forever on that one. And idolatry. Self-interest, in brackets, selfishness. You touch base on that. No compassion. Yep. Greed. Denies eternal soul and the creator. Wow. We end up thinking that we are it. Completely forgetting that where we came from. You know what I mean? Especially with the external applications of drugs that we take in. We start thinking that we are the chicken and the egg type of affair. We're it. That's it. Do you know what I mean? There's no more.
Check this is off. Sorry.
Sure.
Go on. Finish it.
All right. Accumulation, equivalent to success. In brackets, no morals, no sense of right or wrong. Wow. Preoccupation to money, jealousy, which is there, and thievery. Avoiding all faith and spiritual deity. In brackets, hopelessness, unrepentant sin, despair, eternal death. Wow. Eternal death. We basically touched base on that. People being spiritually and emotionally broken and busted. They're just working their ass off to make ends meet. They, you know what I mean? All these fake ideas and thoughts, mashing people up into pieces. There's a bit more on that, but yeah, you wanted to jump in there?
Basically, I've been watching a program called American Gods, right? I've tried watching it a few times. I've longed it off, and the other day I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. So basically, I started watching it, and it is a very, very funny program, because basically it got to a point in the program where there's a geezer called Shadow Moon, right? And it's quite a funny name actually, Shadow Moon. The light in the dark, basically. He's basically been hired by some god who calls himself Odin. Now, Odin's basically rounded up.
Germanic god.
Odin's rounded up all the gods and basically said, "We have got a war against the new gods. The new gods are trying to take us out. They're trying to take all our worship, and they're basically false gods. Like, they're not real gods." And guess what the gods are? One of them's called media. One of them's like the head of all the gods is money. Like, these are their actual names. The other one's called like a catapalism. The other one's called government. They've just like turned them all into gods, right? And it's quite a clever concept if you really think about it. Because back in the day, we used to worship like I don't know, like things that we used to think that were like giants and stuff like that, gods, like who had special powers. But now we like these gods in this program are like obviously like gods, like they're in human form, but their powers are like manipulating social media, and they get the masses to do. So it's a really clever program. You've got to watch it.
What's that called again?
It's called American Gods. It's got have you know Hollyoaks? It's got that black geezer called Calvin. Calvin who was in it. It's clever, very clever, very clever. Like, I only really clocked on to what they were doing about 3 series in, until he rounded up all the gods and said that thing, and I was just like, wow. Because how true is that? How true is that?
Yeah, because back in the days, obviously the gods, and there were many gods. There wasn't one god. There were many gods, and they were all connected to particulars. You know, whether it be the sky or stars or water or earth, or that they were all. There was a god for everything, and people used to worship to particular gods accordingly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the of giving gods bodies, in a sense, was man-made. Do you know what I mean? It was created by us.
Man. Yeah.
Sorry, it was created by us to give us a link, an idea of something
what we're worshipping.
Tangible.
Yeah. It's a really clever program. Really clever program. Like there's a couple of bits in it where they show that there's a god called fashion and a god called media. And basically, they go to attack Odin, but they've got to manipulate, obviously, the masses to turn them into foot soldiers. So basically, what they do is media puts them out, links up with fashion, and she's they manage to put they use their powers. Like their powers are what's on our earth already, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So media, as in social media, Facebook, Instagram, she controls all of that. She can control all. She can make people
TV, genre,
yeah. So the
computer games, all that,
yeah. There was a point in it where she made the world believe that Shadow Moon murdered all these people, done all this stuff, blah blah blah. And she was putting it out on the internet. She was just thinking it with her mind and stuff. And then basically the masses, the police was after him, blah blah blah. It's really clever concept. You got to watch it to actually understand.
I'm really intrigued actually. I've written it down.
Exactly what is happening to us. Exactly what's happening to us.
Where's that on Netflix?
Amazon. It's exactly what's happening to us. Honestly, it's a joke. I had to laugh when I clocked on. I was just like, dear God. What
I love about TV, I call it the I forget what I call it. I bloody said it for but the beauty of
think tank.
That's what I call it, the beauty of human error. You see things on TV and a lot of it is harsh truths, and a lot of it are giving you things in pretty much giving you plain sight. But the crack about most of it is that these ideas, these thoughts, these pictures have come from somewhere. So if they're thoughts, that means it must have been sin or been made. You know what I mean? Because there would be no reason for it to be there otherwise.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
That's why I love Star Trek and stuff like that.
You know what I mean? So
I love Star Trek. I love all technological films. I love all futuristic films because that stuff they're showing you is real. Look at iRobot. I've always believed that them robots they had are real. The first gen robot they've made is an identical robot from iRobot. What's that? It's Sunny, isn't it? The robot's name, Sunny.
Yeah.
It's Sunny. It's exactly him. It's nuts. And that film was out nearly 20 years ago now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And I've always believed that it's real. Always. And look at it now, man. We've got soldiers in Iraq who are robots. I play Call of Duty, man. I've seen the same robots designed for Iraq, in Iraq. Yeah, and they're on my computer game. nuts, absolutely nuts.
Giving you things in piecemeal, so getting the masses socially acceptable to see these things, and then when
acceptable,
you know what I mean? And
it's like all these alien films they show you and stuff, bro. Believe that soon they're just gonna drop that on you and be like, boom.
To get people used to it.
Okay, yeah, I've seen them before.
See how they get on with it. Yeah, totally. And then eventually these things get rolled out. Do you know what I mean? Like drugs and all that sort of stuff, you know. We're going a little bit off topic, but like even epidemics and medicines and this and that, you'll see things planted in films and then later on they're coming out. You know what I mean? Like it's happened so many times. Like it'll never change, you know what I mean? Like,
that fruit they found in Australia, it's been in so many cartoons, so many films, and all of a sudden that's the fruit that can actually cure cancer. What? And what, it just turned up after all these years, after all this? Nah. I'm sorry, I don't think so, man. Like you've had that time, man. You've had that plant for time, and somebody found it and expose you on it, and then you're like, oh, you know, the jig's up now, we're just gonna have to say, but still it's protected. Do you know what I mean? Like it's nuts. It's the way they play us, man. It's the way they play us, you know what I mean? They piss on your cornflakes and tell you it's raining.
Wow. So the magic behind money.
Yeah.
Where I'm going with this is I feel that money is being played more than what it looks like to the masses, in the sense of, okay, why do they, in most banknotes, why is there usually a dead person, whoever it may be? It doesn't matter whoever it be. It's usually someone connected with royalty or done something. You know, that, to be honest, most probably weren't the first people to develop whatever it was that they said to have developed, you know. But they have a dead person on a banknote.
Like Winston Churchill.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer that, you know, our intentions allow things to manifest and grow and keep things alive. And this has been proven in science and many things, you know. So necromancy pops up into my head, you know, like having a dead person constantly on money, and what's the meaning behind that? No. So necromancy, if I just read up what that is, necromancy is a practice of magic involving communication with the dead, either by summoning their spirit as an apparition or raising them bodily, for the purpose of divination, imparting the means to foretell future events or discover hidden knowledge, to bring someone back from the dead, or to use the dead as a weapon, as the term may sometimes be used in a more general sense to refer to black magic or witchcraft. This is something not brand new. This is something in ancient texts. Necromancy has been used for a long time, Egyptian time and beyond. You know what I mean? Through mummifying and all that, you know, they were doing particular rituals in African tribes with the voodoo and whatnot.
Statues,
tribes,
big old statues, golden pearls, all that. Yeah,
necromancy was big. Bringing
it holds their spirit, doesn't it?
Yeah, bringing things back alive. And we see these things.
It doesn't even hold the spirit. Like us as humans bring them back alive. But with our thoughts power, our thought process, we
seep through us, like drain from literally, and until it creates. You know, this is just
creates it,
you know, and then it can birth, like our intentions do. Our intentions to make things, create things. You know, it allows things to birth. You know what I mean? Like we've seen this through science. You know, like through the intentions of using thought through water. You know, Dr. Emoto has done it, and many others. You know, you can change the structure of water. You can make water dead or less lively, or you can make it more alive and allow things to grow and flourish. So our intentions are massive. So necromancy is a big thing on money. You spoke a little bit about money and papyrus. You know, what papyrus is. So there's a little bit of etymology on papyrus. So late 14th century, from Latin papyrus, meaning the paper plant, paper made from it. From Greek papyrus, any plant of the paper plant genus, said to be of Egyptian origin. Proper plural is papyri. Papyrus, we connect that with Latin as well, don't we? And we go back to the Rome areas. And back in the days, they used to use holy wood, you know, quite interesting. Hollywood, but they used to use holy wood. Literally, it was called holy wood, wasn't it? Which they'd make staves and create magic and make magic using holy wood. Jordan Maxwell talks big on that. So the idea of wood was, or particular woods were a big deal, you know. That's another thing as well. And then there's the spelling on our money, on the money that we use. You know, things like on the American dollars, on the banknotes, saying like "In God We Trust," for example. Like a lot of people get lost in translation with that. You know, like "In God We Trust." Now, the real God that they're talking about, to my understanding, is not anything. Well, it's external, and it's definitely not a man in the sky or any type of God that most people may be thinking of like that. But definitely more in the value of their money, like you were sharing out of the program American Gods. Their God is money. And it has a control of the masses. You know, there's many gods, but in the God we trust is what they're talking about. In my understanding, is the synthetic God money. A lot of people see that. You know what I mean? They've got people believing and connecting in a way, thinking that, you know, the God that they're going on about is this wholesome, universal God that we're all connected to through connection with religion. So where I'm going with this is like being the magic behind money is, why is it? Do you feel that people are hypnotized or I will almost say drugged?
I don't believe people are hypnotized at all. I believe that people are willing and they're lazy to fight a system that they know is wrong. Back to every man has a price. Like, what price would anyone stop at another man, approach them and saying, right, I've got this amount of money, go kill that person? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the willpower in people. We were never born with money. We were never born with this attachment. We got attached to it. Obviously, in a process of no choice, obviously not having it. Well, you have got a choice, but yeah, it's all about choices if you really think about it, and willingness. It all boils down to it. I was just going to try and defend it there, but nah, it's all down to the being willing. Like, the truth is, money has no power. We give it that power.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that. Can't survive without it.
We can't survive. Yeah, it can't survive without us. But for some reason, we got ourselves into a position globally, consciously thinking that we need money to survive.
Well, I think you touched.
We don't have money. If we don't have money, we can't go down the groceries and buy a couple of cucumbers, a couple of tomatoes, what grew from the earth anyway. What shall we do? We're going to have to go get some money if we want it. Like, how else are we going to? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Like, how are we making something that's not real to get something that's real? It's crazy.
And
that's what it is. It's the willing.
Yeah. They've nearly got
They
it.
have got us by the balls.
they've nearly got it into a cycle where, you know, for example, even the food that the majority of people are probably touching base with, especially in places like England and America, etc., Australia, whatever else, you know, they're turning food synthetic, trying to base everything and saying it's the best way for us to feed the masses, whatever else, which is just so weird, so weird and so wrong. And they can't even see that. They'd rather wipe out the farmers and mass produce GMO foods and say that they're doing us a favour, do you know what I mean? But even the food that they're attempting to give us is fake. Particular things like, you know, I'm not against plastic or anything like that, but, you know, making other materials up rather than using things that are natural for us that the earth can benefit from, rather than doing things like that. They're creating things to damage our ecosystem, to make it harder to function, because the cycle becomes broken. It slows down, it becomes congested. Do you know what I mean? And they can see this, they just don't want to deal with it. And, you know, they have massive things like people.
They are doing
5G.
They are dealing with it. They're doing it.
Yeah.
They are dealing with it. They're the ones doing it.
Yeah.
Mother Nature ain't doing this to us.
Nah.
Humans, our own fellow human, our own fellow man is doing this to us. Just to make their bloodline more healthy and more wealthy than anyone else forever. And it's all about their bloodline. It's not just about them. They are genuinely thinking about their future. They're thinking about their name, and that's what all these brands are. Future. It's the future. Like, it isn't their name. It's their future of their name. If there was no tomorrow, like, their name would be nothing. But the fact that it's going to be there 100 years after they died. I mean, look at Heinz, bro. 120 years out or something. The guy died 120 years ago.
That's what keeps the show alive. That's what I feel deeply about.
But I would go shop, and I'm not eating no tomato sauce that's not Heinz, bro. Nah. Do you know what I mean? Because the best tomato sauce, like, it's nuts. It is so, but it's just got that power. Like, as soon as you see like something else, you're like, oh, what's that?
So we've got to be really mindful. I'm still, you know, increasing and getting better as I go along, but we've got to be mindful of what we're digesting.
100%.
Our food, people we relate with, work, you know, trying to become more sovereign in a massive way, and then collectively sharing that energy so it becomes more cyclical, is very, very important. So, you know, I just wanted to touch base on a little bit, which I should have touched base on earlier, about the idea of money and water. And this should have synced in a little bit more with the Knights Templars, because obviously we live, and it's not spoken about much, the maritime law that is very much in play, but they don't talk about anymore. Too tough. Well, obviously that's the idea of where money and a lot of the words came from, isn't it? And I'm sure you're aware of many of the words, you know, whether it be banks, which would obviously be water banks, you know, banks by the river, current, which is connected again with electricity and water, you know, it's a current in water, currency, cash flow, liquidation, all these types of words, you know, and you go back into when people were
all them words we use.
Huh?
Yeah, all them words we use, because we were never trading by land, because we were trading from country, and it's quicker to go by sea.
Exactly.
So they'll be like, yeah, we're 1,000 currents away. We're gonna be there in this many days. You better meet us at this bank. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nuts. Yeah. So you can take your shipment, and once you get your shipment of whatever you've got, you can go to, you know what I mean? You can start your flow of cash in your country, or whatever they termed it, you know what I mean? But all the money, all the words are to do with water.
Yeah.
And
the way we traveled as well. Yeah, and the way
a true real, obviously, physical currency. Our first ever true real physical currency that should still stand today, but that doesn't.
Yeah,
unfortunately. As soon as it turned to law of the land, that's when it became swords and shields, mate.
When division came again, and they still use the names today. You know, everyone has to have a passport. You know, a port. Where do you find a port? Right next to the sea.
Yeah.
It's coincidence, you know what I mean? It's like,
you shall not pass.
You know what I mean?
The only way you can pass is how? By buying a ticket, which costs you money.
Exactly. It costs you currency. You need your currency, to get you from A to B, you know what I mean? So
if you ain't paid your currency, you can't flow over that way, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a big deal.
Flow is a slight anagram for go, innit? I should really look at it, like, think about it. But anyway.
Yeah, so that being said, it's been an interesting chat. I look forward to chatting with you a little bit more. I'm sure we could delve in a little bit more into money and what it portrays. But I think we covered quite a lot there, brother, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So it's been a good chat, man.
Ahead, and I really hope some people probably have heard a lot of this information before, but really was just to share where whatever level we're at this day and age, but to try and bump heads and get a little bit more mindful as to what money means and what it entails, and how we can start pushing a little bit more towards sovereignty and recognizing that actually, you know, the game being played here is really, really, really
simple.
Very much, so long as you're in control of the controls. And it doesn't mean that you need to have a lot of money to be able to recognize that. This is something that we're becoming to realize. And once we do begin to realize that actually we've always been in control, and can it be in control if we make the right footsteps, ask for help sometimes as well, then you can start accumulating a more abundant wealth internally first, and then if you do choose to externally create more growth with this synthetic money, you can do that as well, and it will come in abundance to you if you're wired up a little bit more and you take time to allow yourself to master you. So it was really good chatting to you, because you know, you're someone who's definitely taken the transitional change into a new way of thinking, you know, because I know you've got family to tend to, and I know your history as well, obviously being my brother. So to see you grow and just expand and be able to share spaces like this is massive. So I really appreciate you being on this show with me today. And yeah, man, much love, much love. Yeah, we'll catch up very, very soon, and we'll talk some more for sure. So this is the Need to Show. I am Zeke Dorset. This is Dwayne Dorset signing off. Wholeness to you all. Much love.
Peace.